and this is looking to be a good match. So, with that being said, I mean, we do have a very supportive team here on Druidz. As we said, really only that one really hard carry, the Puppet Master. Now, Puppet Master with a Magmus Glacius, that's a very devastating kind of combo. It looks like they're going to be heading south. Do you think they're going to be butting tri-lanes here in this game, Asway?
By the looks of it, they won't be. Their Hellborn tri-lane is going to go bottom. And I take it that the Legion tri-lane will go top. I'm not sure. The Hellborn tri-lane wins in a tri-lane versus tri-lane. But I don't know if it's the smartest idea for them to do tri-lane versus tri-lane.
Okay, fair enough. It does look like we have Bubbles down south there for Wahlin, so he'll be taking on this tri-lane. Well, reasonable guess, you'd probably get pushed out of lane. As I said, it's a pretty decently nasty combination between, well, we don't actually have a skill yet on Glacius, so he's either going to hit the Tundra or the Ice Imprisonment. And for, what's a typical nice Puppet Master build here, DrDz? Like, in a tri-lane like this, do we go for more for the hold or more for the Puppet Show, or do you just go straight Whiplash?
You obviously want to get Whiplash because his auto attacks are brutal, and that's where most of their damage is going to come from during Glacius's stun and slow mag stun. But you typically level Puppet Show first just because it gives even more control to take out more targets, and it also is a longer leash range, I believe. So people will get, you know, forced to attack creeps or other heroes nearby from a longer distance away.
Yeah, and of course that will also keep them rooted at that spot as well for the next Tundra Blast, the Glacial Imprisonments, the stun from Magmus, and or of course even just the ultimate from the Puppet Master. It does look like it's not going to be. Yeah, no, it is a tri-lane versus tri-lane down here. There's the Witch Slayer hiding in those trees. But for the other matchups, Devour has gone mid against surprisingly a Slither. So not too sure I've seen a Slither mid in my time, but that also puts a Hellbringer up top against a Bubbles. So quickly, as we just have them, you know, kind of facing off, Devourer versus a Slither in the mid Asway. What kind of what's the shift of balance there?
Right now, by the looks of it, Slither is actually out harassing the Devourer, which isn't really surprising, but I think Slither should be able to win as long as he dodges the hooks. Really is going to be the key thing, but if he gets hooked once or twice, he's most likely going to lose the lane pretty badly.
Okay, and up top, of course, we do have that Bubbles versus Hellbringer, both very adept solo heroes. And what do you think of that matchup there, DrDz?
Hellbringer in a side lane solo is one of the strongest heroes in the game. Puck's going to have a really hard time farming against Hellbringer just due to the amount of harass, plus the auto attack damage. Hellbringer right now 55 to 65 versus 51 to 56 of Bubbles. So Hellbringer's going to have a huge edge in that lane.
Yeah, of course by Puck we do mean that Bubbles, I know Dota synergies and all. But we will try to keep it Heroes of New Earth for you folks. So down south, you know, just a lot of harassment going on. Now at this point, I mean, we got a ranged carry supported by, you know, a ranged support and a melee support, whereas on the flip side here for Wahlin, that Nighthound is going to be their carry, and he is melee. So, I mean, there's a little bit slight disadvantage in terms of the damage being output there, but of course we do have the pseudo blink, the pounce for Nighthound to close those distances. So right now, if we get off a good Cloud, could we see an easy first blood here for the Legion, or do you think it's going to be a little bit trickier than that to beat us?
For Legion's team, they look more defensive, and based off of counter initiation, I say that they go in, run out the puppet.
Well, it does look like.
So I'll let you take it away.
Well, no. Well, yeah. The Cloud goes down, and they tried a little bit there. I don't quite think they fully committed. And as I said, I think this is a bit more of the weakness for the melee Nighthound, because he is going to be dependent on a lot of damage, but he has to get right up there into the face, especially that close to the tower. I mean, if he gets kited a little bit too much. Glacius is, of course, a master of slowing down those heroes. Magmus can easily stop in his tracks, and Puppet Master actually has 0 in Whiplash, so he did go for the full Puppet Show and hold before even one level in that crit whip, so to speak. So look, they're really wanting to get a first blood by disabling these heroes, and as I said, you know, with a claw, it could just come down to or sorry, the cloud, not the claw. One cloud I think could just really stop them in their tracks. So while we wait for that, we just have a quick comment here. Honor Prayer, people have been asking for the stats in the bottom middle. If you could work with that. Up top, looks like Hellbringer taking a lot of damage from this Bubbles. Now, Bubbles versus Hellbringer, you don't think that the movement bonus with the turtle shell that comes out of Bubbles is enough to overcome a Hellbringer, or is it the other way around here, Asway?
Just a second ago, we actually seen the turtle shell doing a lot of harassment onto Hellbringer, actually almost killing him. He actually lived because the courier came just in time. And like once again, here comes Hellbringer, going to actually possibly die to the Bubbles because of the amount of damage the turtle shell does do.
Well, if you had a little bit more mana, that might have sealed the deal. We're still waiting for a Bloodlust kill here, 4.5 minutes into the game. So everyone's kind of being very passive at this point. So while they're all being passive, we're going to keep a close eye here on this Hellbringer, who is actually out of regen, but he does have a Chalice. I'm just not too sure that's going to be enough to overcome the Bubbles, especially with a potion and a bottle. So bottle ferrying may or may not occur. That's exactly what's going on with the Hellbringer. So with that all in mind, what are kind of the creep scores? I see we got Slither going for that tablet of damage, and this could result in a nice gank down south against these tri-lanes. But who's kind of winning in the farm right now in the middle there, DrDz?
As expected, Slither's dominating Pudge in terms of farm. However, when he went to go get that rune, he missed out on some experience, and Devourer hit 6, which might turn the tides.
Oh, this will turn the tides. Voodoo Jester going down in the bottom. He gets comboed upon nicely, but now Glacius goes down immediately afterwards. Very close, less than a second between the Bloodlust there, but the extra gold advantage is going to go to Druidz as they grab that extra gold, so to speak. So the tri-lane showing a little bit of a sign of life. First blood here, a little over the 5 minutes. Yeah, with this tablet of damage, I fully expected Slither to head down south with his boots, superior speed. He is level 6. He did not take an ultimate. However, he does have 3 in wards, so even solo, he is going for a 3 in ward build. He does have 2 in the poison spray, 1 in the toxicity. Isn't it normally the other way around there, Asway?
I think it actually varies depending on, where you are and what you're doing. With the maxing wards against, Devour, it's actually really good. Forcing Devour, to stay back quite a bit and not get any creep kills.
Yeah, well, as we said, the out harassment at this point is paying off with Slither having a good lead there, 26 creep kills. Now, the close competitor there is that Bubbles level 6 up top, as well as we see a TP going down south. Bubbles has now come from the top. He is down south, and the Hellborn do not know about this. This might be very devastating for the frail Hellborn support heroes. We got level 3 Glacius and Magmus, and we just have to wait to see. In comes the turtle shell, but I'm not too sure that's going to be enough as Magmus gets off a key stun there. Out comes the ultimate, however, and that's going to take down the Puppet Master, so he goes down. Never good to have your carry in a tri-lane go down like that, but Hellbringer's come in with his level 6. Malphus is just too far out of range for this Legion team, so Wahlin going to be taking the quick lead there, 2-1, as looks like Hellbringer came down here for close to nothing. Glacius nearly dropping 25 hit points to that turtle shell. Quite the range on that turtle shell with that bubble. So that being said, now we have up top, it looks like a little bit of switch. Nighthound is going to do a little bit of free farm, and that will leave the 2 support heroes down south to their own devices. So if we see Nighthound really get nice and beefy, a good amount of free farm, a good amount of items, you think he could actually counter really well, because he was close to the last pick for Wahlin. Do you think that could really go over well, DrDz?
Yeah, there's a lot of squishier heroes on Hellborn's team, especially if they don't do so well in the early game. And he'll be able to pick them off with a purge really easily. Too
bad he wasn't down south to save that Voodoo Jester as he goes down. But Magmus, no, he's not going to go down with that Steam Bath. Going to be breaking the line of sight there. So almost a little bit of retribution there for the Witch Slayer. Puppet Master is now down here with free farm, so to speak. And we've had Nighthound kind of run away a little bit from this Hellbringer. What is Bubbles going to be doing? Is he going to start resorting to a roaming, do you think, here, Asway?
Well, once he gets level 6, roaming is very easy to do on Bubbles, and it's most likely expected for him to do it. Very good roaming type hero. Great initiation.
Well, this might actually come back to bite him in the ass, so to speak, as he gets hit by both the Slither and the Glacius, but he will be backing off alright. And right now, I don't know, everyone just seems to be all over the place, so what kind of strategy do you think they're trying to employ here, DrDz?
Well, in the bottom lane, Puppet Master was out farming Nighthound by a lot, so they wanted to switch it up, get Nighthound to a lane where he can actually get some farm and get away from the Puppet Master tri-lane.
Well, maybe they trying to get away from that, but Hellbringer couldn't get away from the triple gank up top, so the roaming bubbles definitely showing you know, what he can do there, as it's now 3-2 for the score, 9 minutes 15 seconds. We have Slither in the mid, still really doing a good number here on Devourer, even though the experience is not that different. It really comes down to those creep kills, 47 now on Slither. So what kind of item build do you think we're going to see out of Slither, Revy on this Slither here, Asway?
He could most likely go Geobane, which could be really good for him. I think, depending if he could still support, there's still the potential for him to go Astrolabe to support his team. But with him being mid, I think they're going to want him to carry. So Geometer's Bane will most likely be his, first item.
Now he has a Crushing Claws on him. I don't believe that a Chalice will be kind of a core item on him in this game. Is that just for the extra hit points at this point?
I think he should go Chalice. His ult is very mana costly, and him only having 350 mana, him to do his spray and get his ult off in a team fight is very unlikely. So with him having the Chalice, he can actually do that and, help his team win the team fight quite a lot more.
Now a Guardian Ring, that's going to be used in a Ring of the Teacher, very possibly for Slither. And as you were just mentioning, he's a mana-intensive hero. I kind of expected to see the beginnings of a Helm of the Black Legion, because that kind of gives him a lot of beefiness. I know that's a favorite item among the carry Slither players, so we'll have to see where he goes with that. He already has his Steam Boots and doing quite well mid, as it looks like he's chased out Devourer. Devourer is down south with Bubbles trying to contain this Puppet Master. Puppet Master did hit 6, so he does have that devastating ultimate of his up, and we still have Jessica Alba playing that Hellbringer up top, almost unabated at this time. So it looks like they're going to try to set up for this Puppet Master down south, which I think is going to go off very well. Devourer coming out of the trees and getting that off. Even the ultimate from Bubbles probably wasn't needed, but it will afford them a kill here on Glacius as well. 2-0, but Devourer in a lot of trouble because we have everyone has teleported down south, and he's going to go down with no support there. And a good juke there from the Witch Slayer, and that's going to put Slither on the defensive as he releases his ultimate. Nighthound is going to be in a little bit of trouble here, especially with that Malphus coming down. That cloud is not going to be saving his life, so that was actually a pretty costly fight for Wahlin, as they lost both Devourer, their mid, and their tri-lane carry, and really the only person that died there was the Puppet Master and the Glacius. So good fight, bad fight. Who came out on top there, DrDz?
I think DrDz came out on top. They do still have Malphus up, and they have the numbers advantage, so they can get some tower damage, maybe even a tower kill here, using Slither Wards plus Malphus. And sure, they lost their Puppet Master, but he did get off to a great start, and he didn't have too much money, I don't believe, because he just bought a Mighty Blade.
Alright, so with a Mighty Blade, it's that indicative of an early Shrunken Head at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. Especially on a hero like Puppet.
Okay, now the Shrunken Head, especially against a team that Wahlin has put together with the Devourer, we got the Witch Slayer, the Bubbles, that's a lot of magic damage, but of course, a Nighthound, he's going to be putting out a lot of physical, especially with Voodoo Jester. I mean, he has a very high auto attack, and his ultimate there is physical as well. So you think it's worth it in this case to escape all that magic damage?
Oh, definitely. And even though Nighthound's damage is all physical, you can't forget that he also has Smoke Cloud, which causes you to miss and you can't cast spells. And Shrunken Head negates all of that.
Alright, so we'll hopefully be seeing that from him. We're sitting at a Puppet Master farm of about 240 gold a minute. We got a double damage Nighthound just wandering around invisible. That could be very deadly if he comes up on some unsuspecting prey. So we're going to have to wait for that, but we did not take this bottom tower, but we've also let up the pressure. Looks like Druidz has now come mid. Looks like they want this, very low mid tower. And at this point, do you think? I mean, this is going to be a very iconic kill for them as